Alright guys, I'm going to show you a couple of things today. I'm going to show you how to move files over from voice memos to GarageBand, how to edit in GarageBand, and how to actually add other music files in GarageBand. So let's go ahead and start in voice memos. Once you're here, you choose the memo that you want to send to GarageBand and you actually click that share button. Most of our first instincts is to use this and try and find GarageBand. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to go to save to files, and then we'll see on my iPad, you'll get a file for GarageBand if you have the app installed. We're going to hit add. Once you do that, you can actually close out of voice memos and go to GarageBand. When you're in GarageBand, if you have songs that you've done already, awesome. Feel free to add on to it. But if you haven't, you're just going to create a new song. I like the audio recorder, but it'll change as you need it to change. So this is your main editing kind of tab. When you're in here, you are actually going to edit almost everything. In the top left-hand corner, there's a little button that has horizontal lines. You're going to click it. And when you do, it gives you this editing screen. Now, the first thing that we're going to do, if this is brand new, is next to the ruler over on the right-hand side, you're going to click that plus sign and then click section A. This will allow you to make your piece as long as you need to without it repeating. After that, you're going to notice in the top right-hand corner a loop button with a number 1 next to it, and that's because we just added one file to GarageBand, so it's like kind of like a notification. So we're going to click on it, and it's going to give you this notification. Move audio files. It appears you may have added files that you want to import to GarageBand. For these files to be visible, you've got to hit yes, move them. So I'm going to go ahead and click that move them. And you guys can see that I've already added a couple of songs. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the one that I want to be in here by tapping it and keeping it held, and then moving it over to where I want it to start. I want it to start on the very top because it's my main piece of audio, and I'm going to pull it all the way over to 1, at least for now. The second thing I'm going to show you is a couple of editing features. So if you click the microphone, it'll take you back out to the first screen that we were at up in the left-hand corner. A couple of options here are the vocal hall. I like having it all the way down. It sounds really, really echoey if you leave it on, so I turn that all the way down. Up in the right-hand side, at the top, there is a metronome that is presently on. I'm going to turn that off. And then any other like sounds or things like that, I'm going to click this button over here, the sliders, and it'll let you turn the volume up or down, and it'll make it so that you can have more treble or more bass, your master effects with your echo. So lastly, when you go back in to the edit mode, if you want to add more sound effects, not necessarily music, because to compete in NPR, they don't allow us to use music tracks, but to add in sound effects, you are going to do kind of the same process that we did before. You're going to go up to that loop, and I already have a few that I have saved as my favorites. I'm going to choose this warp speed, and I'm just going to move it into the very next option underneath my main soundtrack. Now, when I hit play, I'm going to realize that it's going to be really hard to hear because they're both playing over one another. So I'm going to go ahead and move my main so that it starts like right after the sound effect stops. You'll notice that I don't move it completely over because that would make a really awkward long pause or silence. So I'm going to start it like right as the sound effect stops. And other than that, just play around and see what works for you. Let's get recording, guys. Have